I'm Dr. Christian Rizia, and in this episode of the Life Academy, we'll be discussing the psychology of what it means to be a mama's boy, enmeshment with a narcissistic mother, how this is affecting your relationships, and the solution to this known as individuation. Just as a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anyone in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. Being a mama's boy typically refers to a man who has a too close, dependent, or overly reliant relationship with his mother. If you can somewhat relate to this concept, perhaps as a child you were teased with the term when other children would say things such as, "Are you gonna go cry to your mommy?" In adulthood, it can also carry a negative connotation, implying that a man is excessively attached to his mother and prioritizes her opinions and desires over those of others, such as his wife and his own. For example, I saw an episode of the show called Dubai Bling on Netflix. One of the characters named Ibrahim met with his mother the night before his wedding so they can look over pictures of his childhood. He says to his mother, "No matter what, you will always be the first lady." Ibrahim recalled how he would be labeled as a mama's boy and was teased for how he dressed compared to the other boys. Ibrahim then would begin to cry, laid his head on his mother's lap, and she would caress his head to soothe him. Ibrahim then goes on to say, "Choosing to spend that day with my mother was the best bachelor party anyone can dream of." Now, a mama's boy is a form of enmeshment, which is a psychological concept that describes a dysfunctional pattern of interaction within relationships where the emotional boundaries between individuals are unclear, poorly defined, or excessively permeable. In the context of a mother-son relationship, enmeshment suggests that the boundaries between the mother and son are blurred, making it challenging for the son to establish a distinct and independent sense of self from his mother. Think of it this way. Imagine a shared diary with two pens, both writing on the same page, their thoughts, feelings blending into an indistinguishable mix. The diary represents the emotional and psychological space shared by the mother and son. The pens represent their individual voices and identities. In healthy relationships, each person would have their own diary with clear boundaries around their thoughts and feelings. But in a mesh relationship, the boundaries are permeable, like the pages of a shared diary. The pens overlap and bleed into each other, making it difficult to tell where one person's thoughts and feelings end and the other's begin. This idea of a shared journal captures the lack of differentiation and over-identification that often characterizes enmeshed relationships. If this somewhat sounds like you, here are some key features as to how enmeshment in a mother-son relationship is affecting your adult life. Number 1. Overdependence. If you're in an enmeshed relationship, you may be overly dependent on your mother for emotional support, decision-making, and identity formation. You might also be reluctant or fear autonomy. 2. Emotional fusion. Emotional boundaries become blurred, leading to emotional fusion where the emotions of your mother significantly impact you, and so you really feel responsible for your mother's emotional well-being and how she feels on a day-to-day basis. 3. The lack of independence. You might struggle to establish independence and making decisions without seeking your mom's input or approval. This can hinder your development of a separate, autonomous identity. You may also have a fear of separation from your mother as well. 4. Guilt and obligation. Now this is a big one. You have an overwhelming sense of guilt or obligation that makes you enmeshed in the relationship. This guilt can arise from the fear of disappointing or upsetting your mother. 5. Role confusion. Roles within the relationship may be unclear, leading to role confusion. You may feel responsible for meeting the emotional needs of your mother, blurring the lines between parent and child roles. At times, you might even take on the role of being her surrogate husband. And number 6, difficulty establishing intimate relationships. Enmeshed sons find it challenging to establish and maintain healthy intimate relationships outside the family. The enmeshment with the mother can hinder the formation of adult romantic relationships where you might choose your mother over your girlfriend or wife. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to like and share this video to people you think could benefit from this message. I also do executive coaching, so if your team in your organization would like help in achieving its peak performance and need extra help for its executives, be sure to click the link below to set up a consultation to see how I can help out with this journey. So how does an enmeshed mother-son relationship happen? Let's look at a few common themes. In these situations, a mother might be narcissistic, is too attached to her son, and grooms him to be a replacement husband. The mother might be needy, suffocates her son, and expects him to meet her unrealistic emotional demands. So there's a power imbalance to where she is like an emotional vampire, sucking the life out of him. The famous psychiatrist Carl Jung explored this dynamic and labeled this as the devouring mother archetype. He believed that this might stem from the mother's unfulfilled dreams, so she projects those unfulfilled aspirations onto her son, attempting to live vicariously through him. Jung also proposed that the mother may have a fear of abandonment to where she becomes so reliant on her son for emotional support that she becomes afraid of his independence from her. For example, we see the devouring mother archetype played out in the Alfred Hitchcock film Psycho, where the mother, Norma, used guilt and manipulation of her son Norman to maintain control of him. She guilt trips Norman for neglecting her, for having romantic interests, and for even showing the slightest independence. This emotional manipulation keeps him trapped in their codependent bubble, unable to break free. Ultimately, their enmeshed bonds drive Norman to commit murder in his mother's name. Of course, now that's an extreme fictional example, but you get the point. The narcissistic mother sees her son as an extension of her personality. There are also a series of stages that the narcissistic mother goes through with her son. The first stage is called idealization. The idealization phase is the first stage in a narcissistic relationship. In this stage, the narcissistic mother will shower her son with love and affection. She will praise him constantly and make him feel like he is the most special person in the world. This creates a strong bond between the mother and son, and it makes the son feel like he can do anything. The devaluation phase eventually follows the idealization phase. In this stage, the narcissistic mother will start to withdraw her love and affection from her son. She will criticize him constantly and make him feel like he is worthless. This can be very confusing and upsetting for the son, who does not understand why his mother is suddenly treating him so differently. The narcissistic mother may also start to compare her son to other children, and she will always make her son look bad in these comparisons. This can damage the son's self-esteem and make him feel like he is never good enough. She says things to tear him down, his self-esteem, and make him more dependent on her and to put him back under her control. The idealization and devaluation phases can create a cycle of abuse in a narcissistic mother-son relationship. The son may start to believe that he deserves the abuse and may try to win back his mother's love by doing everything she wants. However, this is never possible, as the narcissistic mother will always find something to criticize. Next is the discard or silent treatment phase in a narcissistic mother-son relationship. The discard or silent treatment is a particularly distressing phase in a narcissistic mother-son relationship characterized by calculated emotional withdrawal and manipulation. In this phase, the mother employs various tactics to control and get her son to beg and stop ignoring him. She feels extremely powerful when she can achieve this kind of control, and she will repeatedly use it. Lastly, we have jealousy and control. The narcissistic mother may perceive her son's romantic partner as a threat to her control and as a competitor for his affection. The introduction of a romantic partner poses a direct threat to the mother's established control over her son's life, as it signifies a potential shift in emotional focus, decision-making, and overall influence. The partner's entry challenges the mother's perceived superiority, triggering feelings of inadequacy, especially in the partner if she possesses qualities and accomplishments that the mother perceives as threatening. For instance, the mother might express discontent or belittle the partner's achievements to maintain a sense of superiority. Jealousy is also fueled by the fear of losing emotional fulfillment and the exclusive bond the mother has enjoyed with her son. This fear intensifies if the partner proves to be a source of support and encouragement for the son, empowering him to set boundaries against the mother's manipulative tactics. The mother may harbor a deep-seated fear of abandonment, particularly as the son's commitment to a romantic partner signifies a step towards independence. The jealousy may extend to the partner's physical attributes, particularly her beauty, as the narcissistic mother perceives it as a direct challenge to her own self-worth. This might manifest in critical comments about the partner's appearance or attempts to undermine her self-esteem. The partner's beauty becomes a focal point of the mother's comparison, fostering an atmosphere of competition. Overall, navigating the jealousy and control phase concerning romantic relationships is highly challenging. Sons in such relationships may face significant emotional turmoil and conflicting loyalties between their partner and mother. Now it's time for you to break free from the enmeshed mother-son relationship, the shackles that have been holding you back from being an emotionally resilient and independent man from your mother. This process is called individuation. So individuation refers to the psychological process through which a person establishes a separate and distinct identity from the parent's emotional influence. This process involves establishing personal boundaries, forming independent thoughts, values, and emotions to cultivate a sense of self that is not entirely defined by the parent's expectations or desires. The first step is self-reflection and awareness. Developing an understanding of one's own needs, desires, and values is a crucial first step. This involves reflecting on personal experiences, emotions, and aspirations, recognizing the influence of your mother on your choices in life and how she has influenced your personal perceptions. Here are some journaling prompts for you to write about. 1. What values do you hold dear in your life, and where do you think they originated? How might your mother's influence have played a role in shaping these values? What beliefs about yourself might have originated from your mother's influence? What are your individual goals, dreams, and aspirations? How do these align or differ from expectations your mother may hold on you? Reflect on recent decisions you've made. How much influence did your mother's opinions or desires have in those decisions? Consider significant memories and experiences with your mother from your childhood. How have these memories and experiences shaped your current self-perception and decision-making? What hobbies or interests did you pursue because of your mother's preferences? How do these activities contribute to your sense of self? What hobbies or interests do you want to pursue even if they make your mother upset with you? Envision your future. What do you hope to achieve independently of external expectations, including those of your mother? Step 2. Establishing boundaries. Setting clear and healthy boundaries is essential for individuation. This involves recognizing where your mom ends and you begin. This is where you're going to have to say no to a lot of things where you allowed her to be too involved in your life. Establishing boundaries is going to help protect your emotional well-being and allow for more development of a separate identity. You'll have time boundaries, such as not responding to her calls and texts during your work hours. There are decision-making boundaries where you can say that you value her input, but you're going to make your own choices even if they lead to a mistake. There's also financial boundaries. You cannot be financially dependent on your mother, nor should she be managing your finances. There's also emotional boundaries. If she uses guilt to get what she wants from you, call out those things and put an end to those conversations because you should not tolerate that kind of disrespect. Be sure to implement consequences for boundary violations, such as limiting interactions. Number 3, cultivating independence. Actively seeking independence in thoughts, decisions, and actions is vital. You should strive to make choices based on your own preferences and goals rather than succumbing to your mother's expectations or demands. For example, choose a career path that genuinely interests you, even if it deviates from your mother's expectations or desires. To cultivate more independent decision-making, ask yourself this somewhat morbid question at this time. If your mother wasn't around or alive, what decision would you make? Whatever answer comes up for you, go with that. Developing emotional resilience. Building emotional resilience is crucial for dealing with the potential guilt, manipulation, or emotional challenges that may arise during individuation process. You may have to be okay with being perceived by your mother as the bad son. So say this with me right now. It's okay if I'm the bad son. But the truth is, deep down inside, you truly are not a bad son, even if you feel guilty during the individuation process. Also, stop making your mother the shoulder for you to cry on if things don't go well in your life. Use your other male friends, a mentor, or therapist for emotional support during difficulties. Cultivate support outside your family by people that offer different perspectives and don't have the same unconscious emotional drives and incentives that are connected to your mother. Developing emotional resilience involves learning to self-soothe dysregulated emotions through techniques such as meditation, positive self-talk, and exercise. Most importantly, lean into challenges even if they're going to cause emotional discomfort. Learning from those challenges and that you've been able to handle them on your own is going to help you build that emotional resilience without the safety net of your mother. Step 5, setting realistic expectations for your mother. Understand that your mother will not fully embrace or support the individuation process. She will be resistant because she believes you're the source of getting her emotional needs met. Expect that she will use guilt to get what she wants from you. Stay strong and don't give in, because that could reset the progress you've made. Setting realistic expectations helps ensure that the focus remains on your personal growth and self-discovery. And number 6, develop assertive communication skills. Developing assertive communication skills is key in expressing personal needs, boundaries, and decisions to your mother and others. This involves assertiveness and the ability to convey yourself clearly and respectfully, fostering a healthy identity without succumbing to guilt or manipulation. Here are some examples. Use I statements. Express your feelings, needs, and thoughts using I statements to make ownership of your emotions and avoid sounding accusatory. For example, say, I feel the need for more independence, instead of, you're always controlling. Be direct and specific. Clearly state your thoughts and intentions directly. Avoid vagueness or ambiguity. For instance, say, I have decided to pursue this career because it aligns with my goals, instead of being vague. Be firm yet calm. Maintain a firm tone without becoming aggressive. Speak with calmness and assertiveness, emphasizing your commitment to your decisions. So there you have it. What are your thoughts on guys that are mama's boys and how to overcome it? Leave your comments in the discussion below. Also, I'm an executive coach, so if you're ready to elevate your leadership skills, drive organizational success, and enhance the development of your executives, I'm here to coach you and your team on its journey to peak performance as an executive coach. So be sure to click the link below for a consultation with me to see how I can help your organization. As an experienced executive coach, I am here to support your team on its journey to peak performance.